Hi everyone, Brittany here from Just Be Crafty. If you're new here, welcome, and if not, thank you so much for coming back. We are officially in week 4 of our end of summer granny blanket getaway crochet along. I can't believe how fast these past few weeks have gone. If you're still working on your squares, no worries. I am too. Let me show you my progress. I have about 75 more squares that I need to crochet, but I just decided to go ahead and start joining them together. So this is what it looks like so far. My finished blanket is going to be 16 squares by 20 squares. So I'm making it so it's 16 squares wide as I'm crocheting it, and then I'm going to be doing 20 rows of these squares. So it's going to be quite a large blanket, and I'm really excited to have it completely done. So like I said, I have 75 more squares to go. Yeah, so not too terribly many squares. I mean, that is kind of a lot, like I've said in my previous videos, and if you're making this blanket as well, these squares are very small. They do work up rather quickly, but I was excited to start joining them together, so I figured why not just start on it, and then once I get basically all the squares that I've made joined, then I'll start chipping away at that 75. Now I full well know as you know, we are in week 4. I'm definitely not going to finish this by the end of the week because I am actually leaving tomorrow for a trip. This is just too big. I won't be able to take it. But regardless, that's fine. The whole point of this was to just get started on a blanket. I definitely got way further than what I would have if I didn't have the crochet along. So I'm hoping you're the same way. So if you're still working on your squares and you haven't, or maybe still joining them, or you're just a little bit more behind than what you thought you would be by the week 4 mark, no worries. Literally just be proud of getting however many squares done that you did, and continue working on it throughout the fall and finish it at your own pace. The whole point is for this to be fun and relaxing, not stressful. So yeah, so I am very excited about my progress with my blanket so far. Let me grab one thing. I made kind of a mess. I have a stack of my daisy squares behind me, but this I have to unravel. In case you missed it, I made a tutorial on the join as you go granny square technique. So in my tutorial, I made this small sample. And if you are making either this square, the Dainty Daisy square, or the Raspberry Sprinkle Granny square, and you're interested in doing the join as you go ahead and check out that tutorial. I think it'll be super helpful for you. Also, in addition to that tutorial, I made this fun little cheat sheet. And this one is marked up a little bit. I had to make a couple correct. This is my original join as you go cheat sheet, and I made there were a couple of errors on it. The one that is live on my website, and if you are a member of the crochet along, you should have received an email from me yesterday with the link to download this freebie directly in the email. And that copy that you will download will have all of the updates that mine does not. So don't worry when you go to download yours, or if you already downloaded it, that will be the updated correct version. So there are 3 cheat sheets that I made. So this one, so it's all just one color. So I made 3 of them to kind of help you visualize how you would join. So this one is just all one color. All of the squares are the same, just like with this blanket right here. And then the next one, it's so you can visualize a checkerboard layout. So that way you can visualize alternating colors and how that would go and which square you would add next. Because with join as you go, it can be a little bit not confusing, but it's easy to get turned around and grab like the wrong square. So I wanted you to be able to visualize a checkerboard layout. So if you are doing the Raspberry Sprinkle Granny square, you can use this to help you join if you're doing join as you go. And then my third one is you can, if you're doing custom colors, you can kind of color this in with your own color pencils or markers or crayons or whatever you have, and kind of visualize that layout. Obviously these cheat sheets aren't big enough for like a complete blanket layout because it's only 16 squares, but it will just kind of help you get started. So I have these helpful arrows that show you the direction in which you will be going, and then there's a nice little key down here where it says, the arrows on here are color coded, so the black arrows mean to work, you know, your granny square as normal. The orange indicates working join as you go. And then it tells you when to start and stop. And then there's some directions for slip stitching and chaining. So it's not a complete pattern, but this will definitely help you keep track of where you're at if you're doing join as you go. So go ahead and watch that video if you haven't already and you're doing this join. I think it'll be really helpful for you. I go into more details about the cheat sheet so you can learn more about that there. But like I said, again, this cheat sheet is completely free. If you're signed up for the CAL, you would have already received this in your email. If you're not signed up for the CAL, no worries. I will have the link in the description box below. It'll take you to my blog post that talks about this, and there will be a link that you can go ahead and download those cheat sheets for yourself as well. Okay, so we have that. But anyway, so I have to still disassemble this so I can add this to my blanket. I still have the other joined blanket that I had started, and I want to say, so I still have to unravel all of these. I want to add that, so clearly, so these are obviously two different colors. So I do like the dark. I know, I like it. I feel like it's growing on me, but I wanted to get a color like this color, and I'm someone who loves to just get things in person. So I will just typically get whatever the store has, because if I want something that I want it now and I don't want to have to wait a couple of days to get it in the mail, and you know, sometimes it's like a week or so. So Michael's, which is the closest craft store to me, they didn't have this color, and I was super annoyed that they didn't have this color. This was like the only brown that they had, and it is growing on me. I do like it, but I did want it to be more this color, but oh well. So anyway, I still have to unravel all of these. And I also want to mention the elephant in the room. Look at all these ends that I'm going to have to weave in. I weaved in 40 of the squares ends, and it just ended up taking so much time. So I decided to just abandon ship on weaving in my ends as I go, and I'm just gonna wait until the end. I know that if I was weaving in my ends as I go, that I wouldn't have been able to get as many squares completed in the amount of time that I have. I'm just going to have to weave those in later, and that's okay. So the focus of week 4 is talking about borders. So clearly I am not ready for my border yet, and I know many of you are not ready for your, if anybody, honestly, is ready for their border yet. I know most people are still working on their squares still, just as I am. The focus for week 4 was going to be our borders. So I know for my border, I'm going to want to do my original pattern calls for, and that's a scalloped border. And I definitely think I want to just do it in this brown. I was originally thinking I wanted to do it in the green, but I think I just want to do it in the brown. I think it'll be really, really pretty. For the other squares, the Raspberry Sprinkle Granny Square blanket has a really pretty picot edge. So it has just kind of a thin gold border around it, which is also, it's like the yellowy gold color that's also in the colorful squares, and it's just a cute little picot detail, and it just adds like a little delicate look to the blanket that I really, really love. I'll put pictures on the screen just to refresh your memory, but I think it would be really pretty to do that in another pop of color. I loved using the yellow gold color because I really like the added touch of like a yellow or gold border on a blanket. I think it's so cute, so chic, and I think it's really pretty. But I also think it would have been really cute in either the pink or the aqua color. And maybe your blanket, you're doing a completely different color scheme, and so if you're making that blanket, let me know what color you're planning to do the border in below. I'd love to know. For the Circle to Square Granny Square, that one I just instruct you to do a couple rounds of double crochet. So it doesn't have like a standout border, but that would be a really fun opportunity to swap in a border of, you know, something maybe you want to try, or just keep it the way it is, or add like a contrasting color to that border as well. There's so many different options of what you can do, so that would be really fun. So I can't wait to see your blankets come together and see what you choose to do. It's going to be so much fun to just see everyone's blanket coming together, and I can't wait to see what you choose for your border. Back behind me is a book. Let me see what it's called. Every Witch Every Which Way Crochet Borders, and I really like that book. It has a lot of really fun ideas for all sorts of borders, but it has a lot of really cute ideas in there. So if you want to try like a funky border and you just kind of don't know where to start or where to look, that book is a really great place to look, and I'll have it up here on the screen so you can take a quick peek at it. I grabbed that book off of Amazon several years ago, and I think it might have been part of my Amazon favorites video that I made again several years ago, but I love that book. It's a really great resource. I'll have my link in the description box below in case you want to check it out. Going back to just joining our squares, I love joining granny squares simply because, or really making any sort of blanket, because as it grows, you can actually start using it as you're crocheting it, and I think that's one of the best parts. And especially since, I don't know about you, but the weather in my area has completely turned. Basically, as soon as it turned, really probably the last week of August, the weather turned quite chilly, and so I'm so excited to have this blanket for myself come fall, because I'm definitely going to need it. But it is nice that now that I'm joining my squares, I can start kind of using it as I'm crocheting to keep myself warm. So that's always a really fun part about making a blanket, and I'm curious if that's one of your favorite things to do too. I don't know. And while our return date from our Getaway Crochet Along is officially September 14th, don't worry, it is totally okay if we are not completely done with our blankets. Like I said before, no matter how far we got, we definitely got further than what we would have gotten if we did not start this crochet along. So for that, be super proud of yourself, pat yourself on the back. There is no set deadline or finish line for this, so however far you got is perfectly fine. That's really all I have for you today. I hope you have had fun on this crochet along. You can expect to find a video from me early next week closing out our crochet along. I'll show you officially how far I end up getting on my blanket, so stay tuned for that. And so that will be our official wrap up for the crochet along. So if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that video. Thank you so much for crocheting along. Thank you so much for joining. It's been so much fun. You guys have made this so much fun, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.